Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus, bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time I elected to bring the Wood Elves myself, and my opponent chose the Beastmen. So let's go ahead and take a look at the composition here. I have one of my standard staggered lines, 3 Treekin, staggered with 3 Eternal Guards with shields. If you haven't seen these guys yet, the Wood Elf models are absolutely fantastic. How cool do those guys look? And how terrifying do these things look? Holy hell. Some really cool units. And then behind them, I have 3 of the Glade Guard with Hagbane tips. Now, just from the experience I've had so far, so this isn't 100% definitive, but I have done considerable testing. And if you are going to bring archers as the Wood Elves, you want to bring the Glade Guard. You know, pound for pound, buck for buck, as far as cost efficiency, they are your best way to go. And you want to bring Hagbane tips, unless you're going against somebody with a lot of armor, like Chaos or Dwarves or something like that. Then you want to bring the armor-piercing arrows. But otherwise, the poison arrow is definitely the way to go. So we have 3 of those. Now, the more expensive elf archers, they give you things like the ability to kite and shoot, you know, behind you and stuff like that. But if you're going to use them in a more standard way, you know, which is behind your line firing at various things, you don't want to spend more money. Over here on the left, I have 2 of our little deer riders, and they have green, so there's kind of a holiday spirit here with the wild riders. These guys are deceptively good. Their stats really don't seem to do them justice, and part of that is because you see now the frenzy bonus is in there, and the stats look a lot better. When you see it without the frenzy, it doesn't look as good. So these guys are really good, really quick. Speed of 91 right now. And then, oh, I almost forgot. In the air, we have 2 units. We have the Hawk Riders. These guys are flying bowmen. Now, they do have armor piercing. They're ridiculously fast, 117 speed. I mean, it will turn your head. So they're very quick. They do a slow, drippy kind of damage, but it's so easy to apply them wherever you need them because they just fly there. You know, you don't have to worry about terrain or working around enemy units. You just fly over them. And they're not horrible in melee against cheap melee units, or, you know, ones that are already beat up or running. They're great for chasing people down and getting kills that way. And of course, engaging with enemy archers, they'll do pretty well. And then lastly, we have the Glade Lord, the female version, which is the one that's focused on ranged. And we have her on the Forest Dragon, which is a really cool thing. It's got antlers and all kinds of stuff. And it's got this tail. It almost looks kind of like a seahorse thing going on here, but you know, everything looks like leaves and stuff like that. Just very cool. Like from a lore perspective, these things are awesome. And just think about it, like if you were in the super dense forest of Athelorn, that thing could be perched somewhere and you wouldn't even know until it moved, and that would be far too late for you, my friend. And oh, I forgot, down on the ground here I have the Branch Wraith, and I brought the healing spell and Earthblood, I believe is what it's called, and Miasma, which is just a single target direct damage. It's kind of like what Spirit Leech looks like. It performs very similar to that. And this dude or chick or whatever the hell it is, let's take a look if we can determine gender. Yeah, definitely a dude. He gives +8 melee attack to everybody around him, which is very helpful for your infantry line when you're engaged. So let's take a look at what my opponent brought. I'm sorry that was a little long, but some of you may not have seen the units, so I wanted to show them to you. Up front, got a Cygor, this big rock on his big shoulder, looking like he wants to do some hurt. We got 2 of our old friends Gorbel. Of course, no healing or toughness potions these days for heroes. Morgo, the unkillable Shadowgave, and yes, he is. If you've heard about, you know, how hard to kill this guy is, and you've heard it's really hard, multiply that by 5, and then maybe you have an idea how tanky that dude is. Behind 2 Ungor Spearman Herd right up front, and then a long line of Gore Herd with shields, 5 of those, And then in the back he has 2 Centaurs with great weapons and 1 regular Centaur. They come with a shield. A lot of people seem to forget that, but so they're useful from that aspect. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now the one thing I can say, having, you know, played a little bit with and against the Wood Elves, especially when you're going against another fast faction like your traditional enemy here, the Beastmen, stuff happens quick. So I might miss some of the things on the battlefield, even having recently played this and watched it. It's just everything, there's so much going on that at some points it's tough to keep up. But you're going to see he's firing away with his Cygor, going after my missiles. Great choice. I'm going to advance my flying crew up because I want to threaten the Centaurs, because it's a right now it's 2-on-3. I see him bringing spears over, so I need to do anything I can to help that engagement. So right now I have them shooting at his regular Centaurs here because they were the closest target. So we're going to charge into each other. Boom. Obviously against the regular Centaurs, the Wild Riders get quite a nice advantage here. On this side, since it's 2-on-1, we end up taking a lot more damage, but still a good engagement. The front lines engage, and this is definitely somewhere where I'm not going to have anywhere near the punch he has, and my Treekin are going to have more tank than his guys, though, so that's definitely going to be a factor. We got our Archer Corps here firing. The Centaur, this Treekin's supposed to be on him, didn't quite get there. And then Gorbolls come rushing over the hill here, and they're going to go after my caster and my missiles, which is kind of a bit of a... It put me into a panic, for sure. I was trying to heal over here and do different things. I said, the hell with it. I'm not even going to focus on that. I need to deal with what's going on here in my center. This is not a good position to be in, so I start pulling different units back, and then having the one that's not being attacked start shooting. He attacks that. I have my flying crew attacking this Gorboll, and everybody's kind of running and spreading out here. At this point my Wild Riders recover, but I don't realize it because I'm microing the hell out of this situation. Now we're starting to get some decent damage down on the Gorboll, and then we're going to use the special ability the Lady Glade Lord has that pins you down, called Prey of Anath Rama. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that right. But not only does it hold you down, but it reduces your missile damage by 22%, which is great, you know, for the Wood Elves, not for your target. And you're gonna see he's just getting blown away, just mowed down. He's poisoned. He's locked down, and he's taking a beating. Branch Wraith wants to come in and get a little bit of revenge. Branch Wraith's pretty big, but compared to 2 Gorbolls, not so much. He spawns some Chaos Spawn and sends them into this. So now I realize my Branch Wraith's going to be in trouble. So we're going to bring in our Dragon and see if we can't turn the tide here a bit, and keep, or rather keep things in our favor. But if you notice, my archers are freed up, and this battle's going pretty well. But then you go up and look at my front line. It has virtually melted or run for the hills and needs to be brought back. I'm trying to wrap up his Centaurs here because I want to have the mobility advantage on the field, considering I'm the one that has, you know, archers and things like that to protect. So we're in here. The Branch Wraith I had tossed down to heal. Healed up my Dragon, healed up itself. It's fine in this engagement. And we're able to missile down one of the Gorbolls, and now we're going to work on the other. He sends his infantry just pouring down the hill into this engagement, which, you know, I just wish these guys could have held on a little longer. But, you know, I still have some of my infantry, so I'm bringing them in. I'm bringing in my cavalry. And, you know, we're starting to get like that late game blob where both people think they might be able to win. My Glade Lord there, you know, was just about to break, so I pop her potions. Why does that sound perverted, pop her potion? I've been playing way too much of this game. Anyways, so we're firing away. Some of his infantry is going to take off here. I have the lady, I don't know why she doesn't get in the air right away, trying to help out over here, but I at least have the Cygor pinned down somewhat with Treekin for a while, but he's going to weasel his way out of that. We got our flying guys flying, but you know, here again, Gorboll getting into my archers over here. He gets the remnants of a Centaur in there. I've got Treekin trying to work up. They are slow. I don't know how it says they have 38 speed, because I swear to God they crawl wherever they're going. So he's got a decent bit of, I've got a decent bit of his guys routing, 5 infantry right now. So I'm going to try to seize on that advantage. I'm not even, if you haven't noticed, I don't even touch this guy. And I pin him down, Morgor here. because he's so hard to kill. You just have to save him for last, unless you have, you know, some really hyper aggressive, hard hitting, armor piercing infantry, or like Kolek or somebody to bash his skull in. Otherwise, you're better off trying to take out his army and then try to break his leadership, because, you know, he doesn't have any support. So just a mosh pit here, a lot of bloodied, proven warriors here. There's going to be a lot less of them soon. I was able to chase off the Senegors by sending my Hawk Riders over to fire at them, so some success there. Treekin is still keeping this tied up, but his infantry is recovered from their little shock there, so we're going to have to deal with them yet again. And the Chaos Spawn that he summoned are stay a lot longer than I thought they would. Looks like the tick is about 30 a second, and I'm trying to give them some help and get rid of those things. They're nasty. I bring my dragon in, hoping since it has terror that I'll be able to terrify these infantry and get them running again. It does manage to do that to at least 3 of them, 3 so far. And of course Morgo is going to come in and take some shots. He seems to be working around trying to figure out what's best for him. But, you know, he has so much license because I know I can't kill him, so I'm not even targeting him at this point, so he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants. But I am glad to see the Beastmen get a Lord that's worth using. Now you'll see all of his infantry again has abandoned him, but I haven't noticed yet, or I just recently noticed, that Cygor here is all freed up, and he's enjoying himself. Look like he was wiping his feet off on my poor Treekin's corpse. Well, yeah, not very nice guys, but Cygors aren't known for their pleasantries. So now I'm going to try to bring in the Hawk Riders. They're almost out of ammo, and see if I can't use them to start to break some of these infantry, because, you know, I break their leadership and they run, and then they come back, and they run and come back. And I don't know if they changed something in this patch that they didn't tell us about, but I swear battles are lasting a lot longer. Like, I don't remember ever a situation where Goreherd and Ungor Spearmen would fight down to, you know, till they had 5-10% of their life. But that type of stuff seems to happen a lot now. So it's quite interesting. So things look, you know, heavily in my favor. I've got all these units. I'm trying hard to get some damage on his Lord here. But he's not moving. You know, and he's still regenning. He hasn't used up all of that. So at this point I'm getting a little frustrated. And, you know, I'm trying popping different abilities, and right now I'm going to speed it up, but you know, I did a few charges with my Lord, and, you know, I'm popping out, shooting arrows, trying to keep his damn infantry from coming back. I don't need that. I send the Glade Lord over here finally to finish off this Cygor. He's managed 42 kills, which isn't a lot, but I certainly don't want to give him the opportunity to get any more. So then, you know, basically it's the last Chaos Spawn he called up or summoned, and his legendary Lord Morgor, and, you know, that, boom, now it's just Morgor, right? But look at all my infantry have fled for the most part, so I finally get some of them back, but I'm starting to question my sanity and whether I can pull this off. But now things look a lot better, that his infantry's been permanently routed. We're actually getting some damage down on him. He still hasn't run out of replenishment though, so he's struggling against it. A couple of times we were able to get his leadership down really low, and I thought he might break, but he doesn't. And there at the last second I get off one more heal with my Branch Wraith, and he realizes that it is lost, and after quite a struggle, the Wood Elves claim a victory. So it was a very fun, challenging matchup, and this always is, I think, for both sides. I would give a little bit of advantage to the Beastmen, but maybe that's just because everybody knows them better. With time, perhaps the Wood Elves will have the advantage, but it's only slight. Most of the fights I've had between these two factions, regardless which side I'm on, end up just like this, a very long and tough fight, but it's a lot of fun. It's very competitive. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Eternal Guards with shields did well. Did some well, really well, some not as well, and some okay. My Glade Guard, I feel like there's not enough infantry here, and relevant things to protect them. So I think in the future of this build, I'm going to go down to 2 and maybe add like an Eternal Guard with shields. But overall, okay. The Wild Riders were great. And they had multiple lives because they lost that first engagement. But it was 3-2 and a spear, so it actually ended up being 4-2. But they did a good bit of damage there, killed a lot of them, reformed, and went on to kill a lot of things much later throughout the battle. So I was pleased with them. Hawk Riders, this is the best result I've ever got with them, so I'm thrilled. So that's really cool. They seem to do really well going along with the female Glade Lord in the air. It increases their damage to their missiles by 12%, and just the synergy seems to be good there. The Treekin did what Treekin are made to do, which is just last a long time. But I will say he did better chopping these guys down more quickly than most people I've faced. So he did a really good job. Good game to my opponent. Branch Wraith is mainly there to heal, but also does good damage and did a great job. And I was very pleased with the Glade Lord. I almost always am. Taking a look at how my opponent did. Cygor, a little underwhelming on kills, but considering how crazy the fight was, it's understandable. But as far as, getting value out of him, this is probably what may have made the difference here. Senegors with great weapons. One got slaughtered. One did a lot of slaughtering. His regular Senegor got slaughtered. His main infantry line did okay. I mean, considering what they were up against, I would say that's not that bad, including the Ungor Spearman herd. The Gorbals were good. He was aggressive with them when he should have been aggressive with them, and in the way he should have, going after my missiles. Very smart. I like it a lot. But I was able to micro my way out of it. I really thought I was totally hosed when they got into my archers. I was like, oh no. But we were able to recover and deal with these guys, so that was really cool. I like the utility that you get with the Wood Elves. Like Sisters of the Thorn, I didn't have them in this battle, but they have a couple of spells, and your Lord has ability, and Orion has abilities, and Dorthu that don't take up magic. They're just timed. Stuff like that's pretty darn cool. And of course, Morgor, I forgot to mention, he did what he does, which is last forever and summon 4 freaking chaos spawns. So anyways, again, good game to my opponent. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, or if you learned something or whatever, hit like, hit subscribe. I really do appreciate it. You guys are freaking awesome. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.